Hello everybody, my name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today we got a quickie for you. Today we're going to talk about the Presbyterian Church in America. We don't talk about them too often. Too often we talk about the Southern Baptist Convention, but we do have some news out of the Presbyterian Church in America. And I got to give credit to one of my readers who submitted this tip. It was a little cryptic, but I was able to decode and find the story and report on it today, because I don't think anyone else is really covering this other than the Aquila report. So let's dive right in. So this is about Greg Johnson, who's a Revoice figure, and he has been protected by the top judicial body of the Presbyterian Church in America. So I wrote this article already, so I'm just going to kind of read through what I wrote. So in early July, the Presbyterian Church in America passed Overture 23. So I did a major video on this, and a lot of people subscribe to this channel because I covered the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church in America. So at this assembly, they passed Overture 23, which was a big decisive win against the Revoice movement. It basically allowed the church to disqualify homosexuals as elders. So that was a major win against the Revoice movement. Now, one of the big faces of this Revoice movement is Greg Johnson. Greg Johnson is a teaching elder at Memorial Presbyterian Church, which is located in the St. Louis area, which is very close to Covenant Theological Seminary, which is the flagship seminary of the PCA. So in July of 2018, Greg Johnson's church hosted the first ever Revoice Conference. A year later, a complaint would be filed by teaching elder Ryan Speck with regards to Greg Johnson, and after a lengthy church court process, the highest judicial body of the PCA, the Standing Judicial Commission, ruled in favor of the Missouri Presbytery, who dismissed charges against Greg Johnson by a vote of 16-7 with one absent. The final decision explains this, and I'm reading from the decision here. While teaching elder, TE is the acronym it uses, Greg Johnson has at times neglected to do all he could to clarify the meaning of his views and teachings. Nevertheless, we, the Missouri Presbytery of the Presbyterian Church in America, judge that each of these allegations made against him to be untrue and find no warrant for a trial, since we find no strong presumption of guilt on any of the four allegations. So there are four allegations that were made against Greg Johnson. All of them relate to Revoice as a movement. Allegation 1 denies that same-sex attraction is sinful and thereby fails to properly distinguish misery from sin, which gives rise to it. And they voted 44 to 1 to dismiss these allegations. Allegation 2 compromises and dishonors his identity in Christ by self-identifying as a same-sex attracted man. And they voted 43 to 1 to dismiss these charges. Allegation 3 denies God's purpose and power to sanctify SSA believers by minimizing the pursuit of orientation change from homosexual to heterosexual. They dismissed this by a vote of 41 to 2. Allegation 4 cannot meet the biblical above reproach qualifications for eldership, since A, homosexual inclinations are sin proper and more heinous for being against nature, and since B, T.E. Johnson identifies as a homosexually inclined man. This was dismissed by a vote of 41 to 6. So that one actually had the most support as far as the four charges go. The SJC, the Standing Judicial Commission, ruled that the allegations were not an accurate summary of Greg Johnson's view on the first three counts. The SJC approved the decision, and I had the roll call vote. It was a 16-7 vote. I have the roll call in my article. You should check that out. Check out evangelicaldarkweb.org, linked in the description below. And if you really want to support this channel, go to the Join tab and you can subscribe there to help support this effort. So the decision came in light of the momentum of Overture 23, which happened in early July, which, although is not officially in the Book of Church Order, which is the constitution of the Presbyterian Church in America, that's their constitution, it is a good indication of how the Book of Church Order should be interpreted. Yet the supermajority ruled in favor of Revoice. The supermajority. That was over 2/3. So let me reread Overture 23 and let's see how it compares to the 4 allegations. Officers in the Presbyterian Church in America must be above reproach in their walk and Christ-like in their character. Those who profess an identity, such as, but not limited to, gay Christian, same-sex attracted Christian, homosexual Christian, or like terms that undermine or contradict their identity as new creations in Christ, either by denying the sinfulness of fallen desires, such as, but not limited to, same-sex attraction, or by denying the reality and hope of progressive sanctification, or by failing to pursue Spirit-empowered victory over their sinful temptations, inclinations, and actions are not qualified for ordained office. That's what Overture 23 reads. It's not yet in the Book of Church Order. It has to go through the local or the state level convention. I say conventions like a Southern Baptist, state level presbyteries, and then go back to the national, the general, and next year. So that's how a bill becomes a law, so to speak. And, reading Overture 23, he's clearly guilty on, I believe all 4 of those counts he's completely guilty of. So the fact that only 7 people on the SJC decided that this actually merited being heard in a court is pretty pathetic. It's pretty pathetic. It shows that, despite the grassroots who are completely opposed to the Revoice movement, the elites are very much in favor of the Revoice movement. And one thing that's not in the article is that Tim Keller's protege and his supporters were big in backing Greg Johnson's case. That was noted by Tom Littleton of 30 Pieces of Silver. So, this decision raises concerns about whether the PCA is too far gone. It really does. Because despite the grassroots, you got the elites in power that think otherwise. They think they know better. And if the highest judicial body supported this overwhelmingly, what are the odds that they will actually enforce Overture 23 when the time comes? That's the key question. When the time comes, because Overture 23 has teeth, but if those teeth don't ever clench down, then it doesn't mean a whole lot. Now, does it? So we're going to see this if Overture 23 becomes ecclesiastical law. But, again, just because Overture 23 passed the first round, passed the first major test, does not mean the fight is over. The fight is still on, and guess what? You're going to have to fight for your church if you're in the PCA. So that's all I got to say about that. I kept this short as promised. My name's Ray. This is the Evangelical Dark Web. If you like this kind of content, subscribe to the channel and also like this video to support content like this. Especially since not a whole lot of news about the PCA gets out there, despite the fact that they are probably the second largest evangelical denomination after the Southern Baptist Convention. So it's important to know what's going on in that denomination, especially if you are a presby. So let me know what you think about what I think, and I will catch you on the next one.